All right, let's talk about dividing using fractions with number lines. So first let's talk about dividing a whole number. So we'll start with 4 divided by, and let's use a fraction, let's use 1/3, okay? 4 divided by 1/3. Okay, well, let's talk about what this means first. Well, it means that we have 4 wholes. We have 4 whole something, 4 whole amounts. And we are going to split each one into groups of 1/3. So we're going to split each one into groups of 1/3. So let's show that on a number line. So on my number line, I am going to go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. All right. And what I like to do in order to make it a little more concrete, less abstract using a number line, I like to draw a fraction right below it. So from 0 to 1, well, that's going to be one whole. And then from 1 to 2, that's going to be another whole. 2 to 3, that's another whole. 3 to 4, that's another whole. All right, and our denominator tells us here that I'm going to split them into each 3 pieces, right? So split it into thirds. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 2 cuts makes 3 pieces. So right directly above it, and this helps when you have like open number lines and you're like, okay, well, where do I put these little tick marks here? Well, right here, if you look and make a fraction right below it, well, it helps to know exactly where to put it. So there's my 0 to 1, and then right above it are my third marks. 2. Right above it are my third marks, 1 2/3, and then right above this one as well. Okay, so let's talk about this. What does this mean? 4 divided into groups of 1/3. Well, that means if I have 4 wholes, I'm dividing it into groups of 1/3. So that's 1/3, another third, another third, another third, another third, another third, another and another, and another, and another, and another, and lastly, one more. Okay, and so when you're using the number line, it helps to just kind of go one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We go all the way to 0 because we're using up all the 4. Okay, every single bit of that 4 we're using up, we're splitting it into groups of 1/3. How many groups of it? Well, each jump means one group. So that means, therefore, it's going to be 12. 12. All right, let's do one now. I'm going to slightly move this up, where I am going to use a fractional amount. Let's say I had 1/3, and I want to divide that by 3. Here, what you want to do is go have your open number line, and then make it from 0 to 1, because you're working with 1/3. If you're working with 1/3, well, it helps to make a giant fraction right below it, cut them into thirds, and your tick marks right above it will do likewise, show where it is. All right, so what does this mean? It means that I have 1/3, so I have 1/3, I have 1/3, and I'm going to split that 1/3, I'm going to split the 1/3 into, well, how many different groups? Well, 3. 3 groups. So I have 1/3 split into 3 different groups. So what that means is, if you were to look at it like this, so I've done this in other videos where I show that you can visualize it like this. You have a third, and kind of think of it, you got 3 people. Let's say you had a third of a cake and you wanted to split that between 3 people. Well, it means that each person's going to get 1 piece, right? All right, each person's going to get 1, but they're going to get 1 out of, well, that's a 3 by 3 array. So that's 1/9. So each person's going to get 1/9. Now, what that means here is that every third then, so this is a third, that's a third, and that's a third, every third's going to be cut into 3 pieces too. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that makes 9 pieces, just like we showed here. It's going to be ninths. So what I can do is make the corresponding marks above it. All right, so remember that was these are my third marks, so that means 1/3, and this would mean 2/3, right? If that means 1/3, this would be then 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, which is 1/3, 4/9, 5/9, 6/9, which is 2/3, 7/9, 8/9, and then 9/9, which is 1 whole. All right, so what does this mean? Well, it means, when we're using the number line, what does this mean? It means that we start at 1/3, right? And we're going to split it in 3 pieces. Well, now that we've already showed it below here, showed a fraction being split into, each third being split into 3 pieces each, it makes it a little more concrete. You're able to see it a little better, I think. Being able to see that 1/3 split into 3 pieces is going to get us 3 groups of 3/9. This was our groups. What is in each group? Well, 1/9. 1/9 is in each group. That's what shows here, 1/9. Every single one of these groups gets one of these ninths. Okay.